February 28th. It is now 6:17. Here to my right, I have committee member Councilor Gregory Del Rosario. On Zoom, we have Councilor at Large Selena Reyes. And I'm not sure about it. I guess that's it. Before we do the Pledge of Allegiance, I would like for everyone to rise and do a moment of silence for, over the weekend, the city of Lawrence lost Sergeant Charlie Sandin, and today we also lost a city employee, a former REC program director from 2004 to 2021, Nelson Ortiz. Please, a moment of silence for these two. Thank you, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting of the Public Safety Committee is being conducted both in person and via remote participation. A reminder that persons who would like to listen or view this meeting while in progress may either attend in person at the City Council chambers or can view it through our Facebook and YouTube pages. Councilors, at this time, we do have minutes to approve from January 23, 2024. Can I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Motion has been made by Councilor Del Rosario. Is there a second?
Second.
Properly seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion? Roll call. Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
And the chair votes in the affirmative. Give me 1 second. Councilors, can I have a motion to untable item, before we start with new business, untable item 270-23, concerns of illegal dumping on alleyways and homeless situation, brought to us by Councilor Greg Del Rosario.
So move.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor, Councilor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Councilor Reyes,
Yes.
and the chair votes in the affirmative. Councilor Del Rosario, you may go.
Thank you, through you, Chair. It was brought out to our concerns and the city concerned that it's a lot of illegal dumping on the city, and it's not being enforced. We all blame, most of the people blame the homeless, and that's why probably we invited Kelly. Also, we want to hear from the police department on what type of solutions we can implement or things that we can implement to try to prevent or actually punish the people that they're doing the illegal dumping, to see if they slow down or we can finally stop what it is. All the alleyways are full of trash. It's full of couches and all kinds of stuff. And DPW picked it up today, and in a half an hour, it's already filled up with illegal dumping. Thank you for the DPW for all what they do, but it seems like they have an unfinished battle on every day. They go out every day to clean these alleyways and everywhere, and in 10 minutes after they clean up, it's like they waiting for them to clean up, and then they will dump it again. I would like to call Lieutenant Zerillo to see if the police department have any plan of how can we implement anything to try to fix, and I would like to apologize to you and also give you my condolence and thank you also for being here and this difficult week that the police department is going through, especially you.
Again, illegal dumping Okay, you can hear me now? Sorry.
Yeah.
Certainly, all the alleyways are not covered in the city, but a lot of the city is covered with cameras, and we are very lucky enough to, when we do have an illegal dumping incident, officers do investigate it, and people are charged. I know you may not see that we are targeting people that illegally dump, but they are targeted, they are issued fines, and they are brought before the court for those violations. Does it still occur? Absolutely.
Lieutenant, is there anything that we can do to get more of these people? I mean, I also see pickup trucks driving around, collecting all kinds of stuff. And at the end of the day, they park on the street with all this stuff. And Silver Sands, I don't know if it's just me, Silver Sands, you see all the stuff in a block away from that pickup truck. I'm not saying it's that pickup truck dumping it, but the other day we were on Exeter Street, and believe it or not, one of the DPW members saw a car driving by with a couch. And he said, we should follow that one, because that one, they're gonna throw it somewhere. And the lady stopped, right? The lady with the couch on top stopped and came back to us, because we had a city logo shirt, and asked us where she can dump that, or where she can bring the couch. So they driving around to dump the stuff anywhere they can find. So
so-
what can we do?
So again, I think a lot of it is ignorance, and, you know, maybe people don't know where they can dump stuff. So again, education is definitely part of the solution, and I think, you know, the more we can get out on social media, the more we can get out on radio, educating people of where you can properly dump stuff, the better off we'll be. But we are aggressive. A lot of these vehicles that you're talking about that we see that are loaded with what we might call garbage, some of it's not garbage, some of it's metals that they're bringing over to the recycling plants, but we do also target those individuals with the heavy loads. I don't know if you've seen a couple of weeks ago, Officer Yancey spotted one of those vehicles, it was towed. So we are very aggressive out there. Again, does it happen? Yes. Does it happen a lot more than we want to? Yes. But again, if people call these in, if you have specific alleyways of concern, we certainly can work with DPW, ISD to maybe set up some quick deploy cameras in the area, maybe some sign postage from, you know, maybe we can get together with the DPW director and put some signage up about no illegal dumping, the area is under surveillance. A lot of times that does work. But you can rest assured your constituents in the city that we are very aggressive with this, and you will be fined, you will be ticketed, and you will be prosecuted for illegal dumping. But definitely, the more information that the police department can get, the more information the DPW can get in ISD about where this is occurring, the better off, so we can compile a list and really target and be aggressive in those areas.
A few months ago, we had a conversation about those moving cameras that they are like in Walgreens and all those places. What do you think of those? And do you think that will help? Because I don't know how many cameras ISD has that they could deploy
Yeah, so
to places.
between ISD and the city, we have a lot of quick deploy cameras. Those are the cameras where they're not stationary there all the time. We put them up. We have Lantel come and put those up, take them down, and move them across the city. What the counselor is suggesting is, I don't know if anybody has seen at Lowe's, at Walgreens, there's a tower which has cameras on it and a blue light. Those are surveillance cameras that, you can put in a certain area. Those certainly would be useful, but that trailer, like we talked about a little bit, Counselor, comes with a great cost. It's much cheaper to purchase the quick deploy cameras because they're already tied into a system. So if we're looking for a quick fix on alleyways, probably the quick deploy cameras would be better to target that versus target that tower. But, I mean, that would also be a great addition to our arsenal.
How many of those cameras do we have? The ones?
The quick deploys,
Yeah,
I know the police department has between, I would say, 10 and 15. I'm not quite sure how many ISD and the DPW have, but they may have about between 7 and 10, maybe.
and how many are in use within the is the police department using currently?
Probably all of our quick deploys are in use throughout the city.
Thank you.
But again, we can take those down from locations that either aren't a problem anymore and deploy them, or we can reach out, like I said, to the DPW and target a few locations where we may be seeing a spike in illegal dumping.
No more question. Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Counselor Del Rosario, we do have our homelessness coordinator here, DPW. I don't know if you would like to, if you have questions for them as well, or are you, okay. Can we have our homelessness coordinator please come up? Hi.
Hi, good
How are
evening,
you?
guys. How can I help you?
Thank you
Want
for
me to
being here.
State my name.
For being here. Homeless Coordinator Kelly. Kelly, as you heard me starting, I mean, a lot of people blame most of the dumping stuff to the homeless. What are we doing with the homeless? What kind of communication are we bringing to them? I went in an operation a few months ago with the DPW on Manchester Park, and we picked up like 32 bags full of trash from at the fence. They dumped it, when we came back, it was 15 more, which it's okay. I mean, I say it's okay because at least they put it in a bag, but it's too many, and it's a lot of manpower it takes to do that. What are we doing to try to prevent?
So what I've been doing is, we've been working with the local nonprofits here, as well as the obviously, different offices that work with the homeless. What we've been trying to do is trying to get them off the street, get them into programs. When they go into a program, they come see me, we try to get them into a room as long as they have income. I'm gonna give you an example. Last week, I was with DPW on the rail trail, right behind Railroad Street, so in between Haverhill and Manchester Street. They had 2 dumpsters. DPW came, cleaned the whole rail trail. So actually from Water Street to Manchester Street was cleaned. I went back out there yesterday, we have 5 new people. So it's gonna happen again. And my biggest thing is, if I'm going out there and I'm offering them the services, not everybody is accepting our services, and they're walking away. We went and actually cleaned Bay State Road 2 with Roger, the police department, DPW, and ISD. Out of the 15 people that were there, 5 people accepted our services. We got them off the street and got them into programs and got them into the shelters wherever they wanted to go. The other ones moved now behind the boys' club, so now we have to go and chase them. It's a chasing game in my eyes. That's what we're doing. We're offering them the services. We've spent over $300,000 helping them with first and last to get into apartments, rooms, whatever the case may be. I do have those numbers if you want me to come back with those. I don't have them tonight, though. So what we do is we're cleaning up after them. We have a great team. The city comes together, our organizations and nonprofits, everybody's working together, but not everybody is accepting our services. So when we go and clean an area, within a week, there's new ones coming back. And I think our number one problem is we're soliciting, saying, hey, we have millions of dollars to help homeless. They're on the radio, they're in newspapers, you know, we're feeding people. And don't take this the wrong way, because I love helping everybody. But if we're gonna be a city that's gonna offer all these services, everybody from everywhere is coming here. And my mission and my passion is to help homeless, but the problem we're having now is we were helping people that were here, but now we're getting extra because everybody's seeing, oh, Lawrence is helping. One of the rooming houses called me today and say, hey, there's 5 people here saying you're going to pay their rent. Is this accurate? I don't even know who they are. I had a gentleman call my private phone today saying, oh, I heard on the radio you're going to pay my rent. Can I come make an appointment with you? I think if we stop, yes, we're here to help. You know, I understand that. But you can ask DPW. The amount of trash that we're picking up is not all from the homeless. Some of it, I would say, 65% of it, yes, because they're getting clothes, they're getting food, you know, you're leaving back the containers. The other thing is the propane tanks and the, those things that you use to heat the food up. Sternos, thank you. Sternos are being given out, and we're finding those all over the place. I just don't, my question is, how can I help you? You know what I mean? Where do we go from here? If the services are to help them, when do we say, okay, we can't help anymore? Right? I try my best, but I'm only, you know what I mean, we're only one person, and we can't help everybody.
No, you definitely made some great points, and I think this is, we should set some time to follow up for us to help you, help the community.
You know, like, and again, the more that they come in and the phone calls, and I love helping everybody, but now it's becoming, we're helping other people, you know, and they're coming in saying, oh, I don't have to pay rent now because you're going to help me. It shouldn't be like that. It should be the ones that are in need, emergency. And if you're homeless, where are you from? That's my number one thing now. Before, when I started 3 years ago, I didn't say that. I was like, let's just help everybody. Now, how long have you been in Lawrence? Let me see your ID. If you have an ID that's not from Lawrence, I'm going to call that place, like Haverhill, Andover, Gloucester, wherever they're from, because everybody gets homelessness money. It's not just Lawrence. And to be honest, I'm tired of Lawrence being a dumping site. Like, you're homeless, go to Lawrence.
And how has that been for you, trying to collaborate with surrounding communities to ease?
It's been, it works. Like, if I call saying, you know, who I am, I'm calling from the city, and we have a homeless person, we pay Ubers, we get them over there by Uber. We're also working with Spectrum, Socrates and Joanna. They've been very helpful with the Uber rides. Bay State Road, House of Mercy, too. I've been sending people over there. They've been sending them Ubers to where they want to go. And it helps, but then you have the other ones that just don't want to go anywhere.
Would you, can you create some type, like a list, a bullet list of what you think that would be helpful for you in DPW and LPD, the three stakeholders together in ISD, that you perhaps have, Councilor Reyes, I see your hand, I see your hand, that you may have limited resources of or don't have any, that we should probably look into, not, it may not happen right away, but for future planning and problem solving. Can you get us a list like that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Del Rosario, is there anything else that you would like to?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Reyes?
Thank you. Just I want to ask to our coordinator, when we're talking about the homeless, what kind of homeless we bring it out? Because I know if we allocate funding for our city, I think we're supposed to spending to our people in our community. But I want to identify, because we have a lot of homeless outside, but we have a lot of youth need some support, to have some support to pay their rent or to find out some place. So what I want to understand, when you mentioned what kind of homeless you want to be specific for me?
I believe what the council is, you were Councilor Reyes, the audio was cutting in and out on our end, but I believe what she's trying to say is that, where, like, in which you were just saying, speaking about a little bit, but the types, the people that we're helping, are they from here? Are we prioritizing? What are we doing for, correct me if I'm wrong, Councilor Reyes, what are we doing for the people here compared to homeless people that, homeless individuals that are here that aren't from the city of Lawrence? Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So because I've been in this type of field since 2006, I know who has been here really and who hasn't been here. So if they are from here, I started this program with Awilda Pimentel, both of us together. Go to a program, a detox, or get yourself, clean. Once you get yourself clean, you have an income coming in, we will pay first and last for you to get into a room, and then you continue paying on your own going further. And that's been a very successful program for the last 6 months that we've been doing that. If you're not from here, what we try to do is figure out where you are from and why are you here. And then that's when we go the out routes of, okay, if you're somewhere close, then we'll try to figure out how to get you back there. And if not, then we get you into the shelter. And the shelters, Daybreak Shelter and Lowell have been very amazing, working closely with me too, housing them there. And then they have different programs that they work on to get them housed.
Councilor Reyes, does that answer?
Thank you. Yes, that's my answer. Thank you so much.
Any other questions or comments? Councilor Del Rosario? No. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys, have a good night.
We also have DPW Director Jorge Herman. Can you please come to the podium as well? Thank you. Counselor Del Rosario, you have the floor.
Good evening, councilors.
Thank you for being here, Director. Director, can you walk us through, on a regular day, how many mattresses or stuff like that in any given day, any trash that you pick up from the alleys and other stuff? Oh, hours of work that you, from the top of your head, I know you don't have those numbers, you might do, but
The amount is unbelievable. So as we speak, I receive an email with a lot of pictures showing me the alleyway between Parker and Springfield with maybe 5, 6 trucks full of mattresses and couches, a lot of things, you know, and it's affecting DPW. So our budget we're destroying our budget with those kind of illegal dumping. But yes, it happens a lot. And instead of being clean in our parks, we had to go to those alleyways and to those places where the illegal dumping is happening. But we, working with the police department and inspection service and Kelly all the time, and I know that you probably don't see that, but we get some people, and we, follow the cameras, and Officer Cano and Jay, so we find some people, and we, do what we had to do. So we don't put that on social media, but, with the cameras that are around the city, we can follow those trucks with mattresses in the back. And a thing that we do is we go and pick it up, because anyways we had to pick it up because we cannot let our neighborhoods, to get full of trash. But we always check if there is cameras in the area. We ask for the cooperation of the residents in the area, and we follow the cameras that are on the street with the police department. And sometimes people, they get the letter, and they get the fine. But again, so it's affecting our budget because we don't have. You're gonna see it. We're gonna present our budget in front of you in a couple of days, and you will see how bad it is.
Director, you mentioned you don't put it on social media, but don't you think that posting these people that get caught might scare the other ones away and they'll stop it? And another thing, now that you're talking about the budget, so the fines that they are posting to these people that are caught, where the money goes? Would it come back to the DPW? Where's the money when they get a fine and they pay the fine? Where does that money go? It doesn't come back to you due to the fact?
No, it's inspection services, and with the part of posting pictures on Facebook, I don't know the legal part of it. That's why it's no, I don't get into that. So we let inspection services, police department, maybe our city attorney to deal with it.
What do you think the city should do to try to prevent or limit all those illegal dumpings of the trash? What do you think
The
should be
enforcement.
implemented?
Enforcement. So once people see that we are, giving them fines and no matter where you're putting it, we're gonna fine you. So they will stop. I'm pretty sure that if they know that they will get a fine, even if they go to the river and they think nobody is seeing them. So if we can get them, and again, I had no problem to post them in my personal social media with that, and they will see themselves and they will stop.
Director, have you seen an increase in the mattress dumping, an increase in mattress dumping ever since the Commonwealth of Massachusetts implemented the mattress recycling law? I think it was last November that Massachusetts implemented this?
Yes, since November there is a ban, so for the mattresses, they cannot be in the trash. That's why cities and towns across Massachusetts, residents have to pay to get rid of the mattresses. And Lawrence is still the city that is charging, less money to get rid of the mattresses, just because we are poor community, but that is affecting us too, because people from Methuen and from other towns are bringing those mattresses to Lawrence, and they have, properties here too, and that's why we're asking for an ID. But anyways, they get in the water bill, and they have proof that they have properties over here. But again, we are receiving a tremendous amount of mattresses that we never seen before.
What do you think would what do you think could help DPW besides an increase in your budget? 'Cause I know everything is funny, but,
So the thing is, I think is always is gonna be enforcement, because that's the only thing that's the only thing that we can do to stop, but that's not part of my job, you know, that's ISD and the police department, and they're aggressive on that, but again, so enforcement is the key.
you perhaps meet with the mayor's office and see if we can do like a citywide, like a one-pager flyer mailer. I know we do a lot on social media pertaining the mattress pickup and all of that, but perhaps we should do a citywide mailer that these flyers get mailed directly to the people's homes, that they have it there, they can put it on the fridge with DPW's phone number and information. Maybe that, I don't know if that will help, but it's another way to communicate and inform.
Absolutely, yes. The mayor is asking us to increase a little bit our budget and advertisement just to, you know, get out there and educate people. And I think it's a good idea. So let's see how the budget works, and let's work on that.
Thank you. Councilors, any other questions or comments for Director Jaime? I see none. Thank you so much, Director.
Thank you.
Councilor De Rosario, what would you like to do with this item moving forward? Would you like to table it, to keep it here in case issues continue, or?
Yep. Motion to table.
Okay, there's a motion to table. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Reyes. Roll call. No, I always forget, no discussion on table. Councilor De Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Reyes.
Yes.
And the chair votes in the affirmative. Okay, at this point, can I get a motion to untable item 39-24, community concerns regarding parking meters citywide, brought to us by Councilor De Rosario?
So move.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Reyes. Roll call, Councilor De Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Reyes.
Yes.
And the chair votes in the affirmative. Councilor De Rosario.
Thank you, through you, Chair. I don't know who's going to stand up, but as you all know, the city attorney actually contacted, I think it's PCI, PSI, IPS, the name of the company. But by myself, I'm very frustrated with the way the ticketing company is working in the city. Myself, besides all the complaints from my constituents, tons of complaints. I come to David on a weekly basis with tickets to be removed because they have proof that they paid it, with videos of the ticketing people yelling and screaming at our people after people are actually asking them questions. No answer. Myself, on a working basis with a tag from the city, I've been downstairs tons of times, and the other day I went to renew my license and I have tons of tickets, which parking tickets that they shouldn't been there. But what it is the whole city hall, the mayor's office, David's office, the attorney's office is full of complaints. Social media is full of complaints. So I'm wondering what is it that is not working? And the last thing that I had was that, it's not communicating via the AT&T, Verizon, whatever it is, but why, also question is, why is it, if you give me a ticket and I show you that I paid it, why can you take your ticket back? Why can you just say, you know what, I'm gonna take it away? Why do you have to wait for them to come back to a city council or go to the mayor's office or find David? Why you guys that are working out there have not capability to take that ticket back and remove it, or at least bring it back to the office and at any given time, remove that ticket from the person, and not wait for the person to come to us, that we represent them, to give a complaint, and we do the whole work to try to remove that ticket. And at the end of the day, people still getting letters that that ticket hasn't been removed. And then they talking to us, they yelling at us, and nobody is giving us answer. And why is this happening, and when is this gonna stop? So if anybody can come up and see where we are with this, will be great, and we'll start the conversation from there.
Good evening, councilors. My name is Brian Kern. I'm the president of PCI Municipal Services. And we understand your frustration. And the comment as far as our people yelling at the customers, we don't allow that. We will terminate our people. If we know that's happening, we will terminate them that day. We will not allow them to do that. We have had numerous conversations with David regarding some of the complaints, and just in the last 4 months, we've had all you had to do is, once you paid, you just put that receipt on your dash, and as the enforcement officers walk down the street, they would just check that dash and see if it was a valid plate. Now, you had issues with that too. People would turn it over, people would slam their door and it would blow off. So, I mean, you're still going to have issues with that. But with this new technology, the reason why pay-by-plate has come about is it makes it much easier for the parking companies. We can do it with less personnel. We can do it with more technology because we've got license plate readers on top of vehicles that are taking a picture of that plate, and it will read if it was already paid in the system. But going to that system is obviously different because now you have to use technology from the connectivity. So we are now reliant on Verizon and the AT&Ts and making sure that their system is working. So if you think that process through, once they pay a machine, it then has to go through the system, the back office system of IPS, which is our technology partner who supplied us with all of the machines on the street. And then they are kicking that back to a system that was required by us to use in the RFP, which is the Kelly and Ryan ticketing system. Now, when you think about that latency, that, as we all know, sometimes when we try to make a call, it doesn't always go out. There's a lot of times to where just like AT&T and the issue they had where, it just drops. When you have those type of issues and those connectivity issues, you're going to have problems. And it's as simple as this, Counselor. You can have one machine on the street, and it picks it up, and it puts it through the system, and it reads it back to us, and we know that it's a paid parker. You can have another machine 150 feet away, and that machine isn't working, and sometimes it may take 30 minutes or an hour because of that connectivity issue. And when you think about that, when you're walking down the street and you have 5 bars on your phone, and then all of a sudden you walk a little bit more and you have 1 bar, that's the kind of things that we're having to deal with this type of new technology and this type of system. Now, the pros to the system, obviously, it's much easier. They don't have to walk back to their car. They don't have to put that back on their dash. It's much easier for them to be able to make a payment. They could do it from their car with the mobile pay. It's a green initiative, which is what the mayor wanted, because they don't have to have all of this paper all over the street. It's not littering your streets, and you don't have to use it. So there are a lot of pros, but the cons are you do have these latency issues. Now, we understand the concerns, and again, I've been working with Dave for a year. There are some things that we can do different, and I want to kind of share a few of those things that we have done just in the last 3 months that we have tried to fix a lot of these, and based on our numbers, it has fixed a lot of the latency, but we still have a ways to go. If you look at the overall, though, our overall number of tickets, invalid tickets to total people paying, it's below industry standards. And it has been since we started, believe it or not. And I've got numbers that I could share with anybody to show those numbers. It doesn't excuse the people who get a ticket because our guy incorrectly didn't look at their handicap placard, that's a training issue. And again, that's what Bakari is working on and trying to get that kind of stuff fixed. And again, we've done a lot of training. But, you know, as we move forward, as we have talked to Director Jaime and David about from the beginning, and they understand, is we are using the Kelly and Ryan system. It wasn't built for parking. It was built for collecting your taxes. And it can do that. It does a great job at that, and they're collecting our tickets. But it's not an up-to-date system that is, you know, that has been made for the parking business. So therefore, those latency issues get bigger and bigger. Now, the new systems, it actually has a thing actually tied to it where it has a latency feature. It will tell our guys in the field if there's a problem that it's not reading. A lot of these tickets, if we had that system, would have been avoided over this past year. It also does fuzzy matching. What that means is when a car comes up and it's, let's say, ABC 123, if the customer put ABC 128, these new systems actually do this fuzzy matching, and it tells our guy, and they can avoid giving that person a ticket. That would have helped on some of these. It's also got a mobile LPR, and what that is as they go around, they can actually take a picture of the plate with the machine instead of typing it in. Anytime you're manually typing things in, you're going to run into issues, and our guys are going to make mistakes. Any operation in the entire world, you're going to run into that. This new system allows us to be able to get away from that. The last thing that I wanted to tell you, it's got an appeals process that's online. Currently, the system is not online. These new systems, you can get in there. If you felt like you got a wrong ticket, you could do that from your office. We could see it, and we could void it. So I just wanted to talk about that. That's the reason why we're having these issues. We have asked Steven Snyder, who's with IPS, who supplied the machines. He can go in deeper detail if you want about some of the things that, how these machines work. But we have already done, over the last 3 months, several things to where it has actually brought the number of invalid citations down. And some of those are, as they went around and they did a heat map, they found that there was 18 machines out on the street that had modems that weren't producing as well as some of the other ones. They replaced those 18 modems with AT&T modems, and they're now able to see a heat map to where it's bringing that connectivity down to where it's shoving that information and that data to the system a little bit faster. They also found that there was some antennas. They put some more powerful antennas on these machines. That too is helping to where now it's bringing that data a little bit faster. Again, the faster we can get the data, the better. Because when our guy's out on the street and he's just walking down and he punches that in, if somebody paid 90 seconds ago and it hasn't gone through the system yet, in his mind, it's a ticket. I have to write a citation.
In that point, you write a citation, the person comes out and shows you that they paid the ticket. Why do you send it to us, to the city, to deal with a ticket when you issue the citation 10 minutes ago? You seeing that this person is giving you the thing that they pay. Why do you have to, besides trashing them down, because once you approach these guys, they ready to fight. And I understand. They all ready to fight. Once you approach them, they ready to fight, because I seen it. And I approach them too. And I'm telling you, not as a counselor, just as a regular person in Lawrence, you approach them and they ready to jump on you. So why you issue the citation, you ready to fight me, but I'm just gonna show you that I pay. Besides you yelling at me and ready to fight me, now you're getting me aggravated. You're telling me to go to the city when the city did not issue that ticket 10 minutes ago. You issue it, and I'm showing you that I paid. Why do you have to double aggravate them? Maybe lose a day of work to come and fight a ticket because you don't know their situation, when this could be somehow, I understand the connectivity, all of that, But when I make a mistake at work, I void things out right there because I just did it. Why they not capable to do that? And why I not, besides enforcement, they also customer service. They should teach the people, not fight the people. Why not just tell them, you know what, this is what happened, it's a connectivity issue, but guess what? I'll take care of it. No, it doesn't happen. You know what? You do what you gotta do. Me, I can tell you who I talk to. You do what you gotta do. Bro, I work for the city. Do whatever you gotta do. I don't care. You got your ticket, go to the city and fight it. That's not the approach. And knowing that you guys all know that they're malfunctioning, the machines are malfunctioning, you're not getting the connectivity, you're not getting the signal in time, so why not find a resolution instead of finding a fight or aggravating these people or playing with their time, their work, whatever they need to do. So we're not there yet. You're saying that we're trying to get the connectivity faster. Also, one thing that I find out was that, and I seen it myself, they drive in the car, they put the ticket, they don't even look at to see if they have a handicap placard on it. And they bang the ticket because they read the plate. And a lot of our elderlies, I can tell you a building that I represent, which is called the Rita Hall, a lot of our elderlies, I go there and I pack those tickets up to try to get it reimbursed. Because they don't even take in the time to read, to see if there's a placard. And those are most the issues. And that's why people come and complains, killing the city on social media, radio station. It's tons of complaints. It's like, and they think it's the city's fault. And that's why you're here. Because we wanted people to see out there that the mayor or the councilors have nothing to do with the way you guys are writing tickets out there. You probably saw as a business opportunity and you came into this city and say, guess what? This is what we want to do in this city. This is a business. And now you're telling me also that you're not generating what you need to generate. So something is not doing right. In my community, it's a community, I always say it's a special community. They're not used to technology, they're getting used to it. But with people out there that know how to use the technologies, they're not teaching our people how to use it. They fighting our people. They don't want our people to learn. That's what people think. Yeah. They don't want our people to learn. They want our people to get tickets on an everyday basis. People think that they get commissions on tickets. I know they don't.
They don't.
And you know why they think of that? Because when you come to complain about a ticket, they really fight you. So people think that they fight in their commission. So we need to find somehow a way to tell the people, guess what? You know, we have issues. I put you that ticket 10 minutes ago. I'm going to solve it for you. You don't need to go to the city, and that's also going to stop the complaint. You're telling me that things are doing better, but I'm still getting the same complaints on an everyday basis.
Yeah, no, I understand. The reason why we don't want them to take those tickets back is because it's a revenue control issue, and we need to make sure that those tickets go through the system. If they took that back and then didn't bring it back to the office and it didn't get voided in the system, in 30 days, that customer is going to be receiving a letter saying that they owe that. We're not going to know. So that's why we make them go through the proper channel to bring it through our system. Now, the one thing that we have done to help with, those type of instances, because we don't like those either. We trust me, I don't like being here. You don't like to have to talk about it. I want to solve this problem as much as anybody, and I think we are. But we actually, in our office, Darwin Breda, who is in our front office, he is great with our communication. So what we ended up doing is we actually made business cards, and all of our guys now carry those cards. And anytime they have a situation in the field to where it's getting a little bit confrontational, they have been trained. I'm not saying they do that every time, but they have been trained that they give that card to the customer and say, call him. He can help you. And then Darwin walks them through the process. And I think that is helping. I truly believe Darwin's one of the best communicators we have, and he can help the customer, and it has helped. But from a training standpoint, we will get on those other things. I will work with Bakari, who's our general manager, and we will come up with something else. But part of the other thing that we did, it's those cameras. See, we hear the other side of it. We hear from our guys that it's the customers getting confrontational. So that's why we have ordered and bought those cameras so that now they can wear those when they're out on the street. And from what we're being told, it's being less and less confrontational. And I think that is helping.
You also, Counselor Levy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening. And yes, I understand that sometimes the customer is the one who do the confrontation. But this is why we need to train, our employee on the way that when that confrontation comes, they have to stop it on any way, but, be customer service. And like you said, see, they have a car, okay, I'm so sorry, I'm just only an employee, here is the car, or you need to contact somebody else and do this or do that. So I think so that this is the way that has to be approached, instead of, if I try to confront you, I know that that is most of the time that we feel the way that you want to maybe hit the person,
Right.
But we as an employee and we that's working for somebody, as a customer or whatever, we need to stop and we need to maybe relax a little bit. And that is why he said maybe it's a training or this is something, but our employee, when we as an employee need to know when we need to stop and we need to say, sorry, but I'm just only an employee and that's the way that you have to proceed and do this or do that.
I totally agree. And you've got my word. Both my partner and myself, my partner actually goes around the country and he puts on a lot of customer service type of seminars. We will work on a training program that will be a weekly basis until we can show you that we can get those type of situations improved.
Yeah.
But I agree with you 100%. And
We don't
honestly,
need to confront
I agree.
anyone. Then, seeing how the situation is out right now, we should stop things, instead of confronting the person, because we don't even know neither, what is the problem of the person at the moment, and we don't know what can happen.
right, exactly.
Thank you.
Counselor Reyes, do you have any questions or comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have questions right now because my Councilor de Rosario was very specific. It's not one issue, it's around our community. It's not only about one place, it's everywhere. We have the same concern, the same complaint. We want to see what is the solution. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Counselor. I have a question. I don't know, perhaps it's maybe for Stephen, or David. I received a handful of tickets, violations that were mis-ticketed, and I went through David and got those resolved for my constituents. But the area in my district, the complaint that I receive a lot is that the machines don't work. So they don't pay because they're non-functional. My question is, I know you guys have been going around and checking which ones need maintenance, but it will continue to happen, right? Because machines are machines and something's gonna break and whatever. What should our residents do when they come across a meter that is non-functional and they know they need to pay? Like, should they leave a note on their dashboard? Like, what should we be telling our constituents?
Yeah, I think in some cases, do you have a 311? Some have a hotline where you can call and register a complaint that, hey, I tried paying this meter and it wasn't working. Or I would have them put a note saying that the machine isn't working. But then again, if the person goes out there and the machine is working, they can, kind of handle it both ways and, maybe do a courtesy payment for that person and put it on the windshield. So not everybody starts seeing that the machine is out of order when it might actually be in order. So our uptime is well over 90-something%. We did have some issues with some paper and some printer issues, but that's been resolved. And when we're talking latency, we're talking a small percentage overall. So the modems have helped by about 1% or 2%. high gain antennas are actually helping about another 1.5%, 2.5%, and that's getting it from 95% to 99%. So these are little gains, but they're big gains. So, and that's helping with, the whole throughput of the transaction, from the start of the transaction to when it actually gets to the handheld. So,
Thank you. Counselor Levy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have another question. So there is a number that people can also attach it to the machine that, when they have the problem, or the machine is broken, that they can call directly from there?
that would be for PCI to. Some towns have what they call 311s, which is where anybody can call and it goes into a system. So I'm not sure exactly what you guys have in place, but.
Yeah, apparently it is going to our office.
Yeah, but it's, the machine is something that says, please, if the machine is broken or this machine is not working, call to this number directly from there, or they have to use their phone?
Well, remember, the machines, just if that machine is broken, as they walk to their office and they pass another machine, they can pay another machine, or else they can also pay from their phone because we have the QR codes.
Yeah,
on
I
every-
understand that, but what I
But we
say,
will work on trying to get a number for that, and we will work with Sam, who is the gentleman who is basically our technician for the machines. He knows how those work. We will work with him, and we will work with David and figure out how to address that and get something for those machines when they do go down.
another question. When you work and do a mistake and give it a ticket by mistake, like we were talking about it, can they void that ticket by themselves after they do the ticket, or they have to give it the information to the person and send it to whatever that they have to send it to go in court and do whatever that they have to do?
Well, right now, they do. They come to our office if it's an error, and they can talk to Darwin at the office, and Darwin can bring it up. And then if it's an error on our part, he can take that ticket back, and he gets with David, so that David approves it, and we get him out of the system.
I said that working directly, if I have it, no? They can do that?
He stated earlier that it's money involved and it needs to be going through the proper channels to be voided. So that's why they.
So they have to go, like, I know that they have to, so we were talking that sometimes people has to lose a 1 day of work or a couple of hours of work because they have to go and discard the ticket or come over here or go over there. What I'm asking is that the person who do the ticket, if I see them and I say, okay, I got my ticket and this is wrong, what you've been doing, can that person immediately do that?
No.
No.
No, we do that on purpose. Again, it's a revenue control. If we allowed them to be able to handle the tickets and then take money for somebody might say, hey, I give you $5 if you do away with this ticket. He could take that ticket and come back, I voided it. And all of a sudden, he's going to be turning in a lot of tickets. The other part of it is, if we allow them to do that and take those tickets, it's possible that that ticket never gets back to us, which then never gets voided in the system, and then Kelly and Ryan will be sending a letter in 30 days, and remember, that escalates. After, a period of time, it keeps escalating. We don't want them to have to pay more than that $25 ticket. It's better for them to come to the office or call Darwin and handle it that way to where then we can take care of it and make sure it's voided out of the system.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Thank you, Madam Chair. But once again, when we're talking about, I'm thinking about connectivity. So we're not 100% on connectivity yet, and we might not be. But we continue to operate. And we continue to make mistakes because we're not there for connectivity. So we're going to continue getting the complaints. Tickets will be void, and you guys are not going to stop working. When we agreed to this contract, we wanted a parking company, regardless of what it was, that worked. We wasn't expecting all this commotion that we have on all this nonsense ticket, basically, and excuse me what I'm saying, nonsense, is due to the fact that you guys know it's the connectivity issue, but you guys don't stop operating. So,
When you say connectivity, we're talking that 99% of all transactions arrive in our system in under 5 minutes. And then, so it's not like it's every transaction. So, 97% arrive within 90 seconds on average.
That's,
So-
Can you just come to the podium and repeat that for streaming purposes? Thank you.
So when we're talking connectivity issues, right, so we have latency for 90 seconds, so transactions that are completed in 90 seconds or less, which means all the way through the system. And then there are other ones that are 5 minutes or less, and then there's those transactions that exceed the 5 minutes. In our system, we do what they call the hold and send. So when AT&T was out the other day, we'll continue to take transactions in the machine, but unfortunately, because the cellular system's down, they're not going to go to the handhelds, and tickets can be written. So when we're talking the connectivity issue, we're talking 97% are within 90 seconds or less through the system. So that means from the transaction up to our back office and being pushed to the enforcement system. Now, the enforcement system also is a cellular device, so there could be that latency issues going down to them also. And then 99% is under 5 minutes. And then I don't think we'll ever get to bring that extra 1% in, but we're adding things to go from, where we are now to as best as we're going to get. So it doesn't mean that all the transactions are getting in, because the revenue is coming in. We've done 500,000 transactions in the city since the meters have been installed. So the transactions are getting through. It's that time when the transaction's done, it gets sent in to the handheld, where some tickets could be written, which I think we were talking well under 1%, where a ticket could be written where somebody did a transaction, within 2 minutes maybe, the ticket got written, and because in the handheld, that transaction hasn't gotten there yet. So, and we're trying to reduce that number as best we can.
and I understand, and that's how you see it, that's how you read it. But when I gave you my cell phone, the city cell phone, I want you to pick up the phone calls, and you feel that it's 100% wrong, that it's 100% connectivity loss with all the phone calls that you get, and the complaints for the people, because you guys don't get it. You guys get it from us, basically, or maybe from David. You don't deal with the people on a daily basis like we do. So it seems bigger than that. It's one thing, the report that you get in on your end, and it's also what actually is happening out there. Because your machine could be reading 100%. But the tickets are not given 100% the way it's reading. And again, and that's what I'm saying is, if we know, or you guys know, that you have some type of connectivity issue, but in your system, you're reading 90%. You're reading 100% on your system. But we sending you letters from an attorney, and we calling you here. So you gotta know there is an issue on the connectivity. And we need somehow to, you know what, we gonna figure it out what's going on. And we're gonna stop this nonsense ticketing till we figure it out exactly what's going on. Because you're not stopping. And by his word, when he said that he's not meeting what he was expecting to make. He's not making what he's expecting to make. And that's what makes us sometimes, as a human being, non-stop, even if we're doing something wrong. Because we want to make that goal, right? But we're doing it wrong. And we get complaints on a daily basis. It's on an everyday basis. And sometimes I go to places to see the ticket, and I say, you know what? You have to pay that ticket. But it's 2 out of 5 that I got to tell them, you got to pay that ticket. Then the other 3, they got the proof that they paid it. So somehow we need to get to a point and say, this is not working for now. Let's make it work and see if we can get it to work a little better. Because what I'm complaining, besides the guys being rude, and I understand, because if I get a ticket, I get mad, you gotta be prepared for that. That's fine. And at the end of the day, I understand the guys for that. I don't appreciate the way they do it, but I respect them for that. But when it comes to, I paid it, and you're still giving me a ticket, and there is no solution but file your ticket and go through the system, and tomorrow I got another person with the same issue, and the day after tomorrow I'm gonna have another person with the same issue, and it's been, for the longest, it's been on an everyday basis. So somehow, we need to say, you know what? We gotta stop this and figure it out. What can we do for the people of Lawrence, or the contractors, us, so they don't have to deal with the constituents on an everyday basis?
Now, and just so you know, because we've been trying to figure this out with IPS and with Kelly and Ryan, we have backed off. You know, we've never told our guys, keep writing tickets, keep going out and writing as many tickets as you can. We have not said that to them. In the month of February to this point, through 2 days ago, we've only written 1,632 tickets. 51 of those were invalid tickets that were written, bad tickets if you want to call them that. Of those, 82% of them were the 0 to 90. Again, it's that, when I say connectivity issue, I'm probably saying the wrong word. It's the connectivity because it takes that process of that time. If you want to do away with that altogether, we would have to do away with pay by plate and go back to a pay and display type of program to where it's not going through the internet. It's not, we don't have to wait for that. All we have to do is to see if it's on the dash. But that's different than what we proposed. We put a lot of money out there. We spent a lot of money for those machines. So yes, we need to make our money. I mean, we have not had a great year here, but we want to be a good partner with you. We understood that. We're trying to make this work. We totally understand these type of situations, but we have to come up with a better program that's a more, you know, parking-friendly program that we can use that will help with a lot of these issues.
Arguing on the people that bring the complaints, but there's people that say, you know what? I'm not gonna lose a day of work. I'm just gonna pay the ticket. It's tons of those too.
Yep.
And those are the one that maybe, when you go to report, it said 90% of the people are paying the tickets. But probably 70% of those people don't want to lose an hour of work or 2 hours of work just to fight a ticket, and they pay it. And again, when I'm telling you it's an issue, because I deal with the people on an everyday basis, and I know my colleagues do too. And that's, so we have to somehow, and again, when we go, it's, at the end of the day, it's bottom line. But it's bottom line for whoever's making money. For me, they represent the people that I don't make a penny out of it. It's not working. So somehow we need to, and I know you say you slow down, but at the end of the day, you need to make your numbers. But I'm not looking for numbers. I'm looking to have my constituents happy, or if they're gonna pay, like I said, I go to places and say, well, Gregory, they give me the ticket, I say, no, you have to pay that one. You know, you violated, you have to pay it. But then 3 out of 5, you know, and again, we go into those that hasn't said anything, that they decide to pay the $25 or whatever what the ticket is, because they don't wanna get more aggravated than what they have. You know, what happened with the ticket? Well, I paid it. I'm not gonna deal with it.
And we don't want that either. And these new systems, Counselor, would allow us to do that. You can do that online. They wouldn't even have to come in to see us. They could do it online from their office, and we could take care of it, and we could get it voided in the system, like we do our other cities.
The problem, a lot of our residents don't have office jobs. They have, you know, manual labor jobs, and that's a challenge within itself as well. Councilor De Rosario, is there anything else? Are you all set?
Yeah.
Okay, Councilor Reyes, do you have any questions or comments? Councilor Reyes?
Thank you, Madam Chair, I'm good.
We do have the Council President Rodriguez that would like to say something on this matter. Council President?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, councilors, for the opportunity to speak. I have a few things that I wanted to bring it up to the company that we have in front of us. Giovanni Rodriguez, City Council President. If we know that there is an issue, and we know that the issue is about timing, and the issue is about 90 seconds, 5 minutes, under, and then over 5 minutes, why don't you, knowing the fact that there is an issue with the connection, or perhaps the transit of the ticket coming back and forth, why don't you build within your system an authorization to give up tickets, a grace period that we know is not on the contract, but you know that you have identified an issue on the system. So the fact that you know that there is an issue, a grace period of giving out the tickets might solve the problem. Because we as a community, and as a counselor, we need to deal with this situation on a daily basis when we have somebody that is calling us. So the most important part here on this conversation, I feel like there is an admission of a mistake on some one way or another. So how are we going to solve that problem? I think that by building up a grace period within, that might help. Another thing that I would like to bring up to you, Madam Chair, and to the members of the committee, is that based on the complaint that I have received as a city council at large, is that there is a lot of people that keep on saying that people that give out tickets and they get to a specific amount of tickets, they got a specific amount of money every month. And that's, I don't know if you guys have discussed
We did
this.
discuss that. We were told that they do not get commission off of the amount of tickets that they issue.
That's something that, you know, I believe that a lot of people are talking about within the community. And it comes from, it's, you know, reliable sources that until I compare otherwise, I'm gonna stick with it, with the version that we have because it's a reliable source. The people that are given a ticket, they get a specific amount every month. And I hope that that's not the case. And I hope that the community, the relationship between the community and the trust within the community for your company still goes to the way that it's supposed to go, which is to a positive and not to a negative. With that said, Madam Chair, thank you for the opportunity. I want to bring those 2 points. And I'm glad that we're having this type of discussion at this level.
Thank you, Council President. I do encourage you, there were good questions asked by Councilor Del Rosario and information brought to us by Brian and the stakeholders. I do encourage you to watch the first half of the meeting because you weren't here earlier, and that might help a little bit. And yeah, I lost my train of thought, but thank you, Council President. Are there any other questions or comments? David, is there anything you would like to add? Are you all set? Okay. Any other councilors? I'm sorry? Okay, looks like we have none. Councilor Del Rosario, since this is your item, what would you like to do with the item?
I think somehow we need to bring it up to the full council, because there's councilors that are not here, and I know they have the same concerns, the same complaints, and they probably want to be part of this conversation. I know they probably will watch the video, but they want to be part of this conversation. So if we can actually send it to the full council as a community report, and I will make that as a motion.
Motion has been made. Is there a
Second.
second? Seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion? Roll call. Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
And the chair votes in the affirmative. I do ask all of you to be present at our next council meeting, which is Tuesday, March 19th at 7 p.m. That way you guys all can all be here and ask and answer all of the 9 councilors' questions, because I'm sure there'll be a lot more questions and comments. But thank you for your time tonight, and we'll see you in a few weeks. Councilors, are there any other items you would like to untable, or any other matters that you would like to discuss?
Nope.
Nope,
Motion
okay.
to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, is there a second? It's properly second. Roll call, Councilor Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Councilor Levy,
Yes.
and the chair votes in the affirmative. Thank you so much, councilors. Council President here somewhere. He'll be joining us shortly. But if you can join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. And also a moment of silence for Sergeant Charlie Sandin and former City Hall employee Nelson Ortiz. Thank you. You may be sitting. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting of the Budget and Finance Committee is being conducted both in person and via remote participation. A reminder that persons who would like to listen or view this meeting while in process may either attend in person at the City Council chambers or use our Facebook and YouTube pages. Councilors, at this time, we do have minutes to approve from our meeting from January 24, 2024. Can I have a motion to approve? Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second?
Properly second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Tonight, we have one matter, which is item 76-24, the resolution to amend and rescind the reimbursement required for the Creating a Thriving Lawrence Grant awardees, brought to us by Octavian Spanner, the advisor of Mayor DePena. But Sue, are you here on their behalf? No. Okay, so this whole thing? Okay, so we don't have anyone from the mayor's office at this point. So, can I?
So we should make a motion to table.
Yes, can I have a motion to table item 76-24?
So move.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Properly second. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it. At this point, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Properly has been second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it. Thank you. Members that we have in person today is, to my left, Councilor Levy, Councilor LaPlante, Councilor Luzon, Councilor President Rodriguez, Councilor Del Rosario, Councilor Marmo, and we have Councilor Reyes on Zoom with us tonight. Can you please join me in a moment of silence for our fallen city employees, Sergeant Charlie Sandin and Nelson Ortiz? And now join me in the pledge. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting of the Committee of the Whole is being conducted both in person and via remote participation. A reminder that persons who would like to listen or view this meeting while in progress may either attend the City Council chambers or use our Facebook and YouTube pages to view. Councilors, we do have minutes for approval from our meeting of November 28th, 2023. Can I have a motion for that?
So move.
There's a motion to approve,
Second.
and there is a second. Discussion on the minutes. No discussion. Roll call. Counselor Levy.
Yes?
Counselor LaPlante.
Yes.
Counselor Luzon.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Marmo.
Yes.
Counselor Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor President Rodriguez.
Yes.
And the chair votes in the affirmative. Councilors, we have two new businesses to review. The first item for this evening is item 57-24, the approval of the Lawrence Municipal Aggregation Plan proposal brought to us by Anil Navkal, the environmental advisor to Mayor DePena, and he is here tonight to present us a presentation on this item. Anil?
Respected Chairwoman, President Johnny, and respected members. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come in front of you. It's always an honor and a privilege. This program has been proposed by Senator Payano and has gone through several cycles of approval. This is at a step where this is, once if you agree, the final step is to get your approval, and then after that we go to DPU and DOER for final approval. So I'm here today, just wanted to sort of review how much progress we have made so far. Somewhere in January, we had Senator Payano who introduced the proposal. In July of this year, we appointed broker Colonial Powers for helping the city. Just so you know that the broker was also selected by RFP process by Merrimack Valley Planning Commission way back when. We also interviewed a whole bunch of others before we selected them, and then we got the committee to approve, the whole councilors to approve it. After that, we started, they created a plan, and we began a public review period in September. In November, even though it was supposed to be out for just 1 month, we gave extra time because we didn't get comments, and we got, in November, we closed the public review process. The whole plan is still on the website that City of Lawrence has. Now, we are coming in front of you to request the final approval before we can submit this to the DPU. Did that introduction. I think I'm going to take Mark and Dennis to come over as domain experts. They can explain many of these things in as many details as you need. It's best that the domain experts talk about these things. I have a fair amount of knowledge. I have helped Andover Town go through this process, and they are still waiting for the approval. It takes time, but it was the efforts that I started that has gone further ahead. So now I am here helping the city of Lawrence. I just said, I feel privileged and honored for this honor. Mark.
Mark Capadona, 5 Mount Royal Ave, Marlborough, Mass., with Colonial Power. What we're here tonight to talk about is the beginning process of municipal aggregation. This has to do with the supply portion of your electricity bill. And this would be affecting, as you see down the bottom, only suppliers by, if you're being supplied, known as by National Grid, your basic service. You haven't made another supply. You're not on third-party supply, a Constellation, or Direct Energy. This program is for people that are on basic service. That's who's going to be affected first. I do want you to know that everyone in town, everyone in the city, has the ability to join the program. We don't have the ability to change people that are not on basic service. Those customers would need to opt in. We're hopeful in the future we're going to be able to mail to those customers to let them know that the program is here, so they can match up, hey, this is the city's program compared to what I'm getting on third-party supply. That's something that's going through the Department of Public Utilities right now. So what we're here to discuss tonight is the supply portion of your bill and how that's going to be affected. Actually, we're looking for the plan to be approved. This is the regulatory process we're looking to move forward on. And what we need to do with the plan is, this is the regulatory document that moves through the Department of Public Utilities, so that once the department says, yes, this meets our qualifications, and the reason we're in front of you is we've done this with about 75 other communities, this plan, not exactly, but in form and content, yes. Once this plan gets approved, we come back to the community and say, you're now approved. What exactly do we want to do with products in term and so forth, if that makes sense? So this is the regulatory document that allows us to go forth with the Department of Public Utilities so that we can get an approval so that you can bring a product to the marketplace for the consumers of Lawrence. Does that make sense to everyone?
So with that said, I mean, we would like to sort of say that there is a whole process that we have to go through to come even this far. The interesting part of actually helping the consumers begins after DPU blesses it. Until that time, we really don't have much about what can be done other than to make sure that we stand in line. There has been several efforts at the DPU level to accelerate their ability to approve these programs. It has taken over 2.5 years that approval did not come through. There were meetings after meetings. I have actually participated in some of those things, and now they are going to cutting short. There's a suggestion that they should do that in 90 days. I don't think we will get that in 90 days, but we have a good chance to sort of get in front of the queue and not have to wait for 2.5 years. But you don't get there until you get into the queue. And this is an appeal from my side, from everybody, from your side, that we get in the queue with your approval, with your modification. I think if there are any questions about the plan, or if you want something additional to know about the benefits and all that, we can talk about some of the advantage of this program, like some of these things. Maybe you can speak about these things.
So I will bring up a few of the things that this plan will that this plan will do. So currently, the choices are basic service. That's a rate that switches every 6 months, or you can go to a third-party supplier that might be able to lock in a rate for 24 or 36 months. The Attorney General here in Massachusetts says, please don't participate in these programs. They've found them not to save anyone money vis-a-vis basic service. So vis-a-vis basic service, the last 5 years, it's cost, if you've signed up for one of these programs, about $600 million to the residents of Massachusetts from participating in these programs. That's above and beyond what you would already be paying in basic service, $600 million over that already elevated price for basic service. So what the city is looking to embark on is to bring a product that may have a 12-month, a 24, or a 36, depending on when we get out in the marketplace, to bring that stability that they can count on. And it would not be, and I want to say this, it would not be a third-party supply. Literally, what it is a contract that you would sign on behalf of them that they can participate in. There's a hot button item that everyone here sitting at the council needs to know. This program is an opt-out aggregation. That is how this is set up so that we can get effective pricing. It allows us to go out and know what the load profile of Lawrence is and get you very good pricing as compared to anyone else in the marketplace. That's advantage aggregation. Second, we can use the marketplace to your advantage. We're no longer stuck with every 6 months with the utility. You get to use whenever the prices are low. You can go for a long time. If pricing gets high, you maybe take a much shorter bite. All of those things are possible with aggregation. And what we're in front of you here tonight saying, if we approve this plan, it'll allow us to take the next step, meet with the DOER and the DPU to get approval. There's no commitment by the city at this point. This is just to get you the ability to go out to the marketplace. That's all we're talking about at this time. And then we're going to come back to you and discuss how you'd like to move forward in the marketplace. So just a matter of 3 months ago, I would have said, well, and that's going to be 2 years from now. But there's been a sea change at the department. I believe we may be able to deliver some relief later on this year, given the way the department is now addressing municipal aggregation. So if this was moved, I think there's an outside chance that you would be able to deliver some, what I'll call, stability and savings for the customers of Lawrence later on this year, maybe, October, November timeframes. But I really want to answer any questions you have. So I want to make sure that I'm clear on the hot button item. Opt-out municipal aggregation, meaning everyone would be mailed something. If they don't do something, they would be enrolled in the program. They can always opt out of the program at any time without fee or penalty, and opt back into the program at any time without fee or penalty. So you're literally bringing a choice that did not exist prior. And now I'll open it up to questions. We've done a lot of talking, so.
Councilors, any questions or comments? Council President Rodriguez.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair, Vice President Infante, for the opportunity to speak on this. I have a meeting for the record. I want to disclaim to this board that I have a meeting with the three people in front of us early today to discuss the plan, and part of the questioning that I have, they were able to respond, but I have other questions. So essentially, what I'm seeing here is that these plants will take over the National Grid portion of it as a supplier, or National Grid is still going to be available to the consumers?
So National Grid would still be available. If somebody didn't want to participate, they could still get basic service if they wanted to.
Okay. So after I finished up with the meeting, I was doing some digging, and I also look into the different programs that National Grid offer to the consumers. And part of those programs that they offer to the consumers was a 30 to 32% discount on the bill. Anybody that have any type of public assistance. Is that basically, and when we are talking about that in Lawrence, knowing that the per capita of our city, majority of the people are taking advantage of that. So is that something that the aggregation is going to have as well?
Absolutely. So you're talking about a utility program. All of the utility programs. If you're on a residential assisted plan, an R2, if you had budget billing, automatic withdrawal, I don't think anyone here has a farm discount, but if you had a farm discount, any of those discounts, if you're on a net metering program or any of that, all of those programs stay in place. Those are utility programs that would still be in place and stay that way, even with the program.
And National Grid is still going to be your poles and wires company, right? You can't get rid of National Grid. That's the monopoly on the other side. So you're still gonna get billed by National Grid. If there's a storm, a power outage, you have a billing question, you're still gonna call National Grid. None of that's gonna change. It's literally, like Mark said, just the supply portion of the bill, but everything else stays the same on the top half of the bill. Billing, questions, discounts, access to Mass Save, all that stuff. It's just the electron through the wire that would change. It would be a City of Lawrence program with a certain supplier at a more stable, discounted, potentially greener rate, depending on what you're looking to do.
Can you say your name and
Oh, I'm
address?
sorry,
for
Denise
that?
Allard, Colonial Power Group.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So essentially, what this program is going to do is there's going to be a third option, National Grid, any other third party, and then local aggregation,
That's a correct statement.
municipal aggregation.
Yes.
It is important to say that this program is looking to have everybody that is on National Grid today. Not everybody in the city, but everybody that have National Grid as a supplier, not as a distributor, because, I mean, the distributor is gonna stay, everybody is with National Grid. But the supplier, since the bill of the electricity have two portions, the supplier and the distributor, the supplier portion of it, that's what I guess that we can shop around.
That is correct.
So everybody within the city that have National Grid gonna have an automatic transfer, perhaps, to this new program that it's gonna allow you guys to negotiate the new rate on behalf of the city of Lawrence, if I get everything right based on the discussion.
That's perfectly correct.
So essentially, with the ability of the amount of people that you guys are gonna get, that's basically when you're gonna be able to negotiate a new rate. And if the city decides to move on, that's when the program is gonna take place.
That is a correct statement.
I would like to also add, please participate in selecting. When we go out for bidding, we will get the bidding. So some of you can be part of the team to participate, to say, well, yeah, we like this supplier for whatever reason, and we can have that conversation. So it doesn't have to be just somebody selected by the mayor. You are absolutely, I would like the participation. So, yeah, thank you.
No, definitely. I mean, the city council is taking a lot of the responsibilities under this program when it comes to the public. Another thing that I would like to disclaim on this is that the program, based on the conversation we have, the program is not a warranty low rate program. That's not 100% secure. It is a stabilization rate. That's basically what's going to be secure. With the possibility, based on your experience and the fact that you guys have worked on, that the rate is going to be lower.
Correct again. Cannot guarantee savings. Cannot guarantee savings.
Yes. Another thing that I would like to disclaim, babe, for the record on this matter is that we are basically with this specific program, we are transferring everybody as the new, to be part of the new program. Everybody that is in National Grid, the basic service, as they call it. I need to figure that one out. So the basic service, National Grid, as a supplier, is gonna go into one bucket, and then essentially, people are gonna be able to opt out. Opt out, not opt in. I mean, whoever is on the third party, they're gonna be able to opt in. And that's essentially what I get. I have some hesitation before we have this meeting. Now I have a lot of questions. But what I would like to see that you guys provide to us is essentially a summary of the program for the next meeting. What we discuss is going to be a portion of it, but there is going to be a lot more information that is on the current program that we have here. But also, I would like to see data from other cities and towns that have adopted this plan or similar plan to this, how they doing when it comes to rate. So we be able to compare whether or not this is going to be a good plan for the city based on limitations that we might have and based on other challenges that we might have as a community. That's one thing that I would like to see, to be able to analyze data. These type of plans are not just good based on the information that we got presented, but the data-driven that is going to allow us to make that decision. Also, councilors, in section 2.2.2 of the program, it says something very interesting. And I asked them to change that because as a councilor, I'm very concerned about that section. And section 2.2.2 says level 2 city council. Based upon its existence authority or authority provided by the voters at the city elections, the city council may act on programs and policies, issues, and contract recommendation. In addition, it might be provide instruction to the city consultant regarding the specific policy or program decisions to be made under the program. It might also raise issues directed to and by the consumers for the city to address. And then the level 3, the level 3, which is the section 2.2.3, level 3, the mayor. The mayor carry out the collective decision and instructions of the city council and participating consumer. So that was something that I brought it up to them, because what I would like to see more is like the level of responsibilities when it comes to this program doesn't fall only into the city council. If something goes wrong, or if the rate goes up, essentially, we as a council are going to be the one blamed. If we ensure that this is written on here and more than clear, even though it might be a standard in other communities, I kind of like concerned about my community, people that I represent, and the level of sharing responsibilities. I'm not against sharing responsibilities. I have no issues with that, but I want to make sure that the administration and the council have the same level of responsibilities and accountabilities when it comes to this program. So that should be changed a little bit there, and I discussed that with them, and I hope that you guys come up with some language that
Did you see your
allow
email?
us.
I sent you an email this
I
afternoon.
haven't checked.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did make a change that I was just looking for your approval on. If you
Yeah.
want to make a change from that, we're happy to make that change.
Yes,
But I
definitely.
made note of the mayor and the administration.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, me, as a city council president, I need to look out for the councilors, and I need to look out for my constituents when it comes to the level of responsibilities that we're going to share under this program.
Great.
So
Yeah.
that's all I need to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. I do, for the record, I also want to state that I did meet with you guys earlier today. And to my colleagues, I emphasized my concern of information and education within our residents, of them knowing that they need to opt out, and the process and the campaign that the city should do or will be doing to ensure that this information is out. And Mark and Neil did do a good job of reiterating that this is not guaranteed, and we went through the list of cities. You did show me like one or two cities that actually lost money, but there was a lot more, many more cities that did save money under this program. So we did have a good conversation as well, and you guys have been very transparent of this is not a guaranteed saving, so I appreciate that. Councilors, any other question? Councilor LaPlante.
So I think the chair just answered the question, can the cost go up for the consumers? The answer apparently is yes, the cost can potentially go up.
So it wouldn't go up during the contract, but the next time you went up, so I'm going to lay it, let's say we did a 2-year contract at 12 cents. During that 12 cents, the contract would not go up other than a change in law, meaning there was something that changed. Everyone serving residential, or I should say, retail electricity basic service would be going up, so wouldn't everyone else's price. Change in law. Otherwise, that price would be 12 cents. The next contract that we go out for, that price could be higher or it could be lower. It has to do with the electricity market at that time. But if you're talking about during the contract term, that price could not go up. That is locked in.
What impacts are there for any individuals who either are leasing or owning solar panels?
So no impacts, so to speak, except for the program actually is a little accentuated. So if you're getting a net metering credit, the utility, National Grid, they pay basic service. So if at any point you're actually using power and the power is above basic service, let's just use a scenario. Basic service is at 18 in the city's program. Right now it's at 18, that's why I'm using it. Basic in the town program, City of Lawrence would have a program at 12. They would be putting credits on at 18 cents and you'd only be paying 12. The knife cuts both ways. 6 months later, basic service goes from 18 cents down to 10 cents. You would be using power at 12, the city's program, but they would only be crediting your bill at the 10 cents. So it works seamlessly. We've been doing this for over 15 years, 20 years almost now. Works seamlessly, that's not a problem, still a utility program, but I just want you to understand, when you're using the power, you're using it at the town rate, at the city rate, and when National Grid is applying to your bill, they always apply basic service. So you just have to know the difference between the two.
You're at an advantage. If you have solar. You are at an advantage when you have solar in most of the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you have
I'm sorry. I know this is something everybody needs to understand out there. If you have solar panels that you have, because you have taken lease program, that's different. If you own it, you have an advantage. If you have a lease program, that's a very different ballgame. If whatever money, whatever electricity used from National Grid, that is the one that will be discounted. Anything that you buy from the solar lease people, that's its own contract. This does not have anything to do with it.
The Massachusetts Home Energy Assistance Program, any impacts on that?
None.
You gave a timing, a retrospective of what we accomplished or what we moved on, and now you were suggesting that because of what's happening at DPU,
Correct.
things are happening faster for whatever reason. Is there a timetable that will allow us to? Is there a schedule? That's my point, for us to move on this matter. It's part of the administration, or maybe you, I have no idea.
So the reason we're asking to move a little swiftly right now is they're in a flux at the Department of Public Utilities. They have not set new guidelines, so we're going to use the plan as hung. If we get that approved, we would then be in the queue at the DOER and DPU under its current format. What we're hoping to avoid is the department to issue new regulations that would change this and us have to rehang the plan. So that's why we're moving as swiftly as we can at this moment.
At least from the council president, that he's looking to not delaying it in a bad way, but looking for more information, which will take some time to get. And then we're going to have to have, I'm not sure what the vote is this evening, but either it's sent up to the full council waiting for that, or we're going to keep it tabled here. I don't know what the preference is, but whichever it's going to go, we're going to slow it down a little bit till we apparently get that information. So I just don't know how impactful that delay is. Maybe it's inconsequential. Maybe it's not a big deal.
I can tell you that the department's trying to, they're hoping by the end of March, early April. They're not very good at meeting their deadlines, just so you know, but that's currently the time frame they're looking to get these new regulations out. I can tell you that us as aggregators and consultants have a document due back to them on March 8th. then they need to turn this document, and then there's going to be one more meeting, whether or not they're able to get regulations, or, I don't want to use the word regulations, they're called guidelines. Those guidelines out before we're able to get all the information so that the council is comfortable and move forward. It's more important that the council is comfortable and has all the information they need to make an educated decision than it is that we get this plan moved forward. So it's most important that we get you the information that you need so that you can make an educated decision and move forward.
But obviously, the answer is get the information, be informed, and if you can make it faster, that's preferable. That's what I'm hearing.
That's a correct statement, sir.
Gotcha.
Mark, you have
Counselor? Yeah, so what I'm thinking of is, when I'm looking at this document as well, is that you've got the aggregation plan, purpose of the aggregation plan in this document, the council president was referring to it earlier. This looks like I haven't dived into it, this looks like some sort of an agreement. There are signatories at the end between the council and the mayor, or what is it exactly that we were quoted earlier?
Just a vote in the affirmative of the plan.
Well, while he looks for that, I just have a quick question. What is the document that you need to present on March 8th? Can you repeat that? I didn't really hear.
So that document has to do with the DPU process that's going on, and it has to do with the guidelines. So what we're doing is working with them, crafting guidelines. So next Friday, we have guidelines due to them at the department.
Thank you. Councilor LaPlante?
Thanks. So agreement, municipal aggregation, it looks like an agreement. It has a bunch of recitals, whereas this, whereas that. And then I see this Colonial Power, something prepared by the Colonial Power Group, purpose of the aggregation plan. It looks like there was a public comment on that, correct?
Correct.
So are we voting on the elements of what was before as a public comment?
What was posted, and I don't believe we got any public comment.
No comment. So what was posted was the aggregation plan with supporting education plan, a sample opt-out notice with the required information from the Department of Public Utilities when you mail that. Then there was this sample supply agreement, and it was about 80 pages in total, and that was posted for public review for the 2 months.
And we are going to take the suggestion that President you made, that we modify it to what you suggested. That will be what we plan on submitting to DPU. If you approve.
I'm sufficiently confused. So there's,
Yeah.
I'm trying to differentiate what exactly is the paper, the document that's going to be essentially what we're going to be voting on whenever the vote takes place. I know there was a conversation with the council president who asked for some modifications. You were kind enough to provide for the council president some modifications that it looks like he hasn't looked at it yet, but it looks like it might appease him. And so what I don't know is that going to be part of what we're going to be voting on, is what there's this back and forth going on? Is that going to be part of it?
Yes, it's going to be incorporated in. It'll be what you'll vote to send with the amendment, or we can give you the amendment ahead of time, and it would be the aggregation plan. I think the whereas you're talking about was the authorization that the city council gave initially in the first vote to pursue aggregation. Then there was the consultant agreement with us, and then the 80 pages, which was bookmarked, and it was an aggregation plan, an education plan, some sample opt-out documents, and a sample contract. And that's what you would be voting to approve or adopt to send on to the DOER and DPU as posted.
So this is more of an internal housekeeping between the city council. Appreciate the council president looking out for the council's best interest, looking to making sure that the language is fair and equitable, and that we share the responsibilities, and that the onus is not directly and exclusively on the council, but rather between a partnership, apparently, between the executive branch and the legislative branch. Understand that and can appreciate that. would be something I would think that the council would want to have some sort of vote or a discussion on rather than having it done unilaterally. And if we're going to be making changes like that, if I wanted to make a change hypothetically, I say, hey, change this language, would you give me that language we're going to be doing? The answer is probably not going to be that. The answer is going to be, well, let's have a vote, let's make sure we're all on board on that before we actually implement. So that's not really a question for you, that's a question for us internally onto how we proceed on that. So I think what we should be doing is, we have this language that you have authored that was presented to us. I would think that as part of our rules or part of the way that we conduct business in the council, that we would have an opportunity to listen to the council president make his pitch. It sounds very good. I'm sure we can probably all support it, but I think there's a process here that we need to follow. That's all.
If you want, I can just
Thank you. Can we make sure for the next meeting that we do have the corrected document and also the additional information that the council president has requested? And I know, and any other councilors, we still have some more questions and comments to go, but any requested information or data is included. I know, checking emails, like, everyone lives a busy life, so sometimes we don't see it. Just make sure that, Anil, that you send it to Eileen and Teresa to make sure that everything is included in our documents for every counselor to review.
The copy was sent to everybody, so, but if the councilors are interested, the suggestions are very small and very minor, but they're major.
Oh, if you want to, you have it up here.
This is the
I
right
didn't
line
even
version
look.
that I'm
Okay.
presenting to you right now, and we can read it, and I think it can be explained because this one came directly because of that conversation. This was all that was changed in that whole contract, nothing else. So if you want to sort of.
And all it says is the city council, in conjunction with the mayor and the administration, may act upon. I'm hopeful that that's showing, we're trying to make sure that it was done equitably across both the executive branch and the legislative branch, as well as, the worker bees in the administration. Everyone was taking responsibility. I was hopeful that the council president would agree with it, if that makes sense. If not, we can certainly change it and draft it any way that makes sense to the council.
Thank you. I do, Council President, I do agree with Councilor LaPlante. This is something that we should have, the suggestion should have came at this level. I'm speaking right now, Council President. This should have been discussed at the committee of the whole to then the edit for the next meeting, whether if it's the full council meeting or the next committee of the whole meeting. So yeah, at least for my meetings moving forward, councilors, any changes or anything should be discussed at the committee level before making any drafts or anything, to give the opportunity to every counselor to state their opinions, ask their questions, and also review in a timely manner all documents presented to the city council. Council President.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Vice President Infante. I haven't seen the changes, and obviously, when we present the changes, it was going to be with intent of a vote. I'm not taking this document and making it as a good and pleased to me. No, I'm one vote. And essentially, that's what I'm doing. I'm looking forward for the council to be protected, for the council member. And essentially, as you guys can see here, on the red, that was the change. So first time I see it, because as part of my transparency, when it was asked to me, if I say it, I completely say, no, I haven't read it, because I was not aware of the changes. I didn't, when I came from work, as a hard worker man, I went to take a nap. And that's what I did. Because I wake up 3:30 in the morning, pick up my kids, do whatever I need to do. Before I came over, I took a nap. That's fair enough.
Thank you, Council President.
That's what I'm doing, and through you, Madam Chair, once we take this into consideration and vote for the plant, I'm gonna request through a vote that we adopt the plan with the changes made in front of us.
Great, thank you. Food for thought for future meetings. Counselors, any other comments? Counselor LaPlante, are you all set?
Madam Chair. Thank you very much, I am.
Counselor Luzon?
My concern is that, and I'm sorry I missed the meeting, because I was supposed to have a meeting with you guys today, to late notice. So how can the council adopt something without informing the community first? That is my concern.
So,
And I understand, but I'm thinking about my constituents. I mean, they supposed to know first, and then we need to take the vote after they are informed.
absolutely, and I'll explain. Normally, the process takes a long time, and if we mention any of that, we try to have a conversation with constituencies, because Colonial has tried. So if we tried to tell your constituency, what exactly are you going to do? They're going to ask the pertinent questions, right? I would ask you, what's the term? What's the rate? Who's the supplier? And what will we say? We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. So my point is, once we sign a contract, that's when we hit the ground running. And I'm saying to you, we're in front of the council, we put something in the newspaper. Every single person is going to receive something in the mail. So if there are questions, we're going to have information sessions in the city, Council on Aging, however it needs to be. We'll bring in interpreters so that there isn't a language barrier, so that everyone can get their questions answered when we have the answers to the questions that are needed. Right now, there's not even, believe it or not, there's at this stage, the city hasn't made any commitments. You haven't signed a contract. Until then, there's no reason to say anything to anyone, because there's nothing imminent in front of them. When we have all of that information, that's when we should tell them everything we need to know, and continue to tell them.
And I would just add that even after you get an order from the DPU, you're not obligated to act on a contract. So if there's a gap between, the order just allows you to potentially move forward and sign something and get executable pricing. You can't do that until you have an order from the DPU, but you're not obligated to act within 30 days or 60 days, so you might feel you want to take a little more time there with pricing. And to Mark's point, that increases the time where the residents will have concrete information until you make a decision.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments?
I have
Council
a
President.
comment. When it comes to the information that you're looking to provide to the council, is that something that you guys can generate and provide to us by the next meeting?
Absolutely. We could do it by tomorrow. This is what we do for a job.
At least the information that I asked, it was something in relation to the
Rates
potential
and savings.
comparison to other communities that have adoptees, and any type of information that might help this body to make an intelligent decision based on data. So that's something that you guys have available?
Absolutely.
All right, so my information that requested won't necessarily have to wait for this to stay at this level. So our next city council meeting will be on the 19th. And I hope that by then, at least 5 days before that,
Absolutely.
I'd be fine with that.
Yep, no problem at all, President, no problem.
Madam Chair,
Councilor LaPlante, and then Councilor Luzon.
So apparently you were inviting certain members of the council for meetings to make them up to speed on stuff. Will that offer be extended to other members of the council as well?
Sorry, what's the question?
It appears in listening to the conversation this evening that some members of the council were invited to get more clarification of
I
this.
think we
I'm just
invite-
wondering if that was going to be extended to all members of the council.
I think everybody was invited, one, everyone. I sent that invitation to all of them. I personally sent-
Then I want to thank you for the invitation. Thank you.
Yeah, everyone.
Councilor Luzon.
check your emails.
And you can, I'm still available. I'm not going anywhere. So if you, I can still, yeah.
You mentioned one of the cities that adopted, is in the process of adopting this is Andover? Okay, what other cities, if you can just mention it?
What other cities are doing this?
Yes,
In general
please.
areas, so I'd use Haverhill. Methuen is in the process. Lowell? Tewksbury? Billerica?
Well, then, in the process, no one has adopted the program?
All of those people that I've mentioned are up and running.
Oh, great.
There's 73 different communities that we work with that have power flowing.
You mind, you say Haverhill, Methuen?
Haverhill is up and running, Lowell is up and running, Tewksbury is up and running, North Andover is up and running. Billerica.
They have a list, Counselor Luzon, that will be included, so you don't have to write.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have a full list, yeah, they have a list.
Madam President,
I'll give you all the
I want to do
savings on each one of those. I'll
my
give you
own
the current
research.
rate, too.
But they,
Information, don't worry about it.
they have a
you're
list with,
No, and I will deliver what the council president asked for, savings and rates. I'm happy to deliver all of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Chair, through you.
Mr. President.
I would like to send, make a motion to send this up to the full council as a committee report.
Motion has been made, is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Second.
Seconded by Counselor De Rosario. Discussion, Counselor LaPlante.
Yeah, so real quick, so thank you for putting together the list of the various communities. What would be really helpful to tag along with my colleague here is having on a column next to it, either the savings or the loss of
That is
next to it,
included.
so we could see.
It's
Is
there.
it already on there?
It's already on there, yep,
Perfect,
yep.
thank you.
Not a problem.
Counselor Reyes, before I go to roll call, is there anything, do you have any questions or comments on this item?
No, thank you, Madam Chair. Everything is clear.
Thank you. All right, Anil.
I just want to explain something. You ask me questions and I don't answer because my hearing is not good. Okay, so sometimes I feel like I may be answering questions that it's not disrespect for you, but we have a domain expert, they hear it well. I've told them that I'll be asking you to do it. In one-on-one, I'm fine. I can converse as much as you want. But here, I hesitate because I don't want to say something that you didn't ask, and so I apologize for that.
Who? Council President Rodriguez.
Yeah, one last thing that I would like to ask you. I see that there is a .001 cents or money
kilowatt hour.
or kilowatts going to the consultant. Is that funds are gonna pay, that rate is gonna be paid by the consumer or by the provider?
The consumer.
Or indirectly by the consumer through the provider?
That is, it would be paid by the consumer to the provider that would pay us. So just so that everyone knows, the price of energy came in at 10 cents even. The price that would end up on National Grid's bill would be 10.1 cents. That's what everyone would pay. They would pay that, making it up to Constellation. Constellation would then pay us. But the consumer is paying for it, only the people in the program.
So each time there is a negotiation, the one penny more going to the consultant?
1/10 of a penny.
1/10 of a penny, okay.
That is correct.
All right, no problem. I just want to make sure.
I calculated the impact for average consumer in Lawrence. It comes to between $5 to $6 a year.
That's the average, right?
$1 to $6 a year.
I can give you all the my
That's like an
math.
average, right?
I mean, for about 600 kilowatt hours if you use, yeah.
Just want to make sure that at least we have that part of the discussion.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call. The motion is to send to the full council as a committee report, correct?
Yes.
Am I right? Okay. Roll call. Counselor Levy.
Yes?
Counselor LaPlante.
Yes.
Counselor Luzon.
Yes?
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Marmol.
Yes.
Counselor Reyes.
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez.
Yes.
And the chair votes in the affirmative. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on March 19th at 7
Thank you
p.m.
so much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Councilors, our last item of the evening is item 466-23, replace plaques on monument at Toomey Fountain and Isabel Melendez Park, and that was brought to us by Councilor Rich Russell, who is here with us tonight. Councilor Russell, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'll try to keep my words short. I put this on the agenda because during my brief tenure on the council, the previous council, I attended 3 monument dedications. Roger Toomey, an individual who should be an example of the epitome of a politician. Isabel Melendez, who has done her darndest to integrate immigrants into the American culture. And these 2 I know, and unfortunately, I am not old enough to have known Mr. Stockton, so I don't know exactly what he did. But the one thing that the 3 of them had in common, they had the interests of the city in their heart. The one thing that I noticed while I was campaigning last fall, and I caught a lot of it, people asked me, why is the mayor's name the biggest name on those plaques? The honoree, Mr. Toomey, Senora Melendez, and Mr. Stockton, their name should be the big name. I don't care about my name, the size of my name. 100 years from now, our names, we're going to be gone and forgotten. But they're going to say, people are going to look and say, why is the mayor's name bigger than the honoree? When I wrote the agenda item, I said replace the plaque. After some serious thoughts, the name could probably be erased with a surface grinder and replaced with a plaque with the mayor's name on it in a smaller font, a little bit smaller than, like I said, the honorees. That's the reason I put it there. I know some of you have caught flack and been asked the same question, why? I asked questions of somebody that was in the mayor's office. They said it was the DPW's fault. You know me well enough to know I'm going to ask questions. I asked the DPW director. He said it was the mayor's office. I don't care who did it, but I think those 3 people deserve to be honored in a proper manner. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Russell. I think a few of us were nodding our heads, and a few of us, it seems like we are in agreement with your sentiment. At this point, any questions or comments on this item? Council President.
Did the administration have any type of opinion send it up to the council in regard to this item?
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, the one last thing I will throw in there, I mean, I see them spending hundreds of thousands of dollars lighting up City Hall, lighting up the water tower on Tower Hill. It can't cost a whole heck of a lot to make up 3 small plaques to replace the erased name in a smaller font. The money is there. It should be available, and it's the proper thing to do for those 3 individuals.
Chair, are we moving on this as just to modify the, or perhaps are we going to look into propose an ordinance or to be reading and published when it comes to honorees to be, the names to be bigger than any other name within the plaque?
That would be nice, but my concern right now is those 3, Toomey, Melendez, and Stockton.
I think for this item, we should move ahead with this individual item and then bring up another item to establish the ordinance. I do agree. I haven't seen any other administration put the mayor's name larger than the dedicee. I could be wrong, but.
I have surveyed from southern Maine down to Havre de Grace, Maryland. I have seen a lot of monuments, and those are the only 3 that I have seen where the leader of a political entity is bigger than the honoree.
Okay, so yeah, so let's move along with this item. The next step for that would be to establish an ordinance if the council chooses to adopt one. And I would like for the next, actually, I'll say when a motion is made. Any other questions or comments on this item? At this point, I'll entertain a motion.
few motions on this.
So the motion would be to bring it to full council?
As, with a favorable, yep.
To change.
So moved.
So motion has been made by Council
Second.
Marmal, seconded by Council President Rodriguez. Discussion. Councilor LaPlante.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of what authority we have to require the DPW to change it. What authority do we have to tell the DPW that they're, I'm not disagreeing, by the way, but just because we vote on something, we don't have the authority to tell the DPW that we can certainly advise them, we can certainly instruct them, we can certainly request that they make the changes. I just don't know if we can demand that they make a change.
I think
That's my point.
we've demanded or required other changes in the past. And Council Russell has suggested a more affordable way that they could make this change without, dipping too much
Recasting
into.
the plaques. And
Right.
again, as Councilor LaPlante said, I don't see this as any different than the removal of a 15-minute parking sign or a handicap sign. It would be, to me, it would be the same type of an issue.
I don't want to get too much into the weeds here. There are ordinances, I don't have my ordinance book here, there are ordinances that we create that we're authorized to do. If this was an ordinance, that'd be one thing. We're not creating an ordinance here, we're instructing, apparently, which they have no obligation to follow the city council's instruction. We can demand anything we want to demand. We can demand that everybody, we can demand a cure for all cancer, we can peace in the Middle East, we can demand a lot of different things, right? We can demand municipal things, but I don't think that we have the authority to demand it. We can do it, but it doesn't mean that you have to follow through. We have no authority to do it.
So
That's my
what would
point.
be your suggestion?
Well, my suggestion is this. If you're forcing me to make a suggestion, I think that what we should do is take essentially the pulse of the council and say that the council has recognized the fact that there are, if this is what the council believes, there are inequities in the tablets, and that the council requests that changes be made to reflect the honorees being the principal as opposed to the mayor. I think we have every right to go ahead and make that request.
Thank you. Councilor Del Rosario.
And to add on, again, I'm not disagreeing with you. To add on, and maybe a suggestion, is to put it on hold, send a request, and Councilor Rose will work to try to get that as an ordinance. And if we get it through an ordinance, we might be able to enforce it. And also, it prevent that to happen next time. So that's what I'm suggesting. If we want to bring the suggestion and as a DPW, we want this to happen, but to make it possible to happen and prevent that to happen another time, we should, or you should, request to create an ordinance that reflects all that.
I don't know how much flack any of you caught during the last campaign season about it. I did. I caught a lot of flack. Why?
I also received photos.
Yeah, you
I
do,
did.
and
you, Madam
some
Chair?
others did too.
I did cut a lot, but I was going to football games with my kid. What I saw plaques, when I get the information, I saw plaques there that they even have the contractor's numbers on the plaque. And you didn't see the name of the stadium on the plaque. So it's how you see it. Again, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but going to Bill Recca, and I got the picture somewhere, I took the picture and say, even whoever is taking care of the grass, it's on the plaque. And you can't see the name of the stadium itself. So are they arguing about that? Us, but again, for us to enforce it, it have to be like Councilor LaPlante said, that we create an ordinance, get it through.
It is ironic that you said you've seen names of things. The plaque on the food stand down at Mount Vernon, the engineer and architect, I worked with him back in 1966, okay? So, I find that ironic, but again, what goes on it, I don't really care. But as I stated, the honoree should be the main topic, the main focus on those plaques. If it can't be done, at least I've had my say, and maybe an ordinance will be created that will make sure that this does not happen again.
Your Council President.
I would like to just say a few things in this regard. As a councilor at large, I receive a lot of comment, a lot of phone calls, and different scenarios where people picture those specific plaques. What we're doing essentially with this item in front of us is expressing our concern as a councilor and transmitting the message of a lot of our constituents. We have no power of changing that, but we also have a responsibility to bring that up. This that we're using today is not the typical scenario, but that doesn't take away the scenario, which is basically we having a discussion between all of us, which is great because now you receive phone calls, you receive comments, you receive a series of different scenarios where the message get brought up to you, and now we have the scenario to discuss it. It is not up to us to say the city should change it because we don't have an ordinance. And if we create an ordinance, it is not going to be up to us either to enforce that ordinance, but it is up to us, and it's our responsibility to bring it up to the proper parties. And doing it through a motion and discussing this here at this level, it is no difference than doing it individually to the administration. It is no different whatsoever. Here, I believe it's a little bit more transparent because we are discussing the issue and everybody knows where we stand on that specific situation, independently of how many message we get, or if we get message, or if it's not. It is a concern to a lot of people, and we are bringing this up to the administration. Whether or not they want to pursue it is not up to this body. But we did our work. If we keep on just saying we don't have these and we don't have that, there are limitations on us. And that's exactly what I don't want my kids to learn. I don't want my kid to have limitations because I keep on telling my kid, my little kid, that the limits are the skies. And if they look at this meeting, they be there. No. I'm not teaching my kids that stuff, and that's wrong. So let's leave it up to the administration to either do it or not do it. But we did our work.
Well, I will bring up, I don't know how many of you remember this, back in the term of Mayor Lantigua, Sal was going to pay to redo that whole plaza, the five corners. And when the mayor said he wanted his name all over it, Sal said, do it yourself. But again, there has been a precedent set that way back when, 10 years, 12 years ago, something like that, that the leader of the city politically should not be the main focus of an area or a monument. With that, I rest my case.
Counselor Levy, I saw your hand up. You all set? Any other questions or comments? Councilor Marmol, I think it would be more appropriate to send this as a committee report. That way we can invite the DPW director and someone from the mayor's office to directly tell them our concerns that we have heard and what this committee has discussed, and then from there, we can discuss a suggestion or, you know, hear their, you know, what their opinions and statements as well, to make the
So I
process
amend
fair.
I'll make an amendment to my full count. DPW and all stakeholders involved in making an appropriate decision to be invited into this meeting as well.
Okay. There's a motion, can I get a second on the amended motion?
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Luzon.
Question?
Discussion.
Parliamentary question. What exactly is the motion? I'm a little confused, so just dumb it down.
And inviting DPW and all stakeholders involved in the decision-making process.
Yes.
And just so we're clear, who are the stakeholders?
DPW and the mayor's office.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, I'll say the roll. Counselor Levy.
Yes?
Counselor LaPlante.
Yes.
Counselor Luzon.
Yes,
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Marmol.
Yes.
Counselor Reyes.
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez.
Yes.
And the chair votes in the affirmative.
Thank
you
you.
so much, Counselor Russell. At this point, we have no other items.
To adjourn.
Motion to adjourn has been made, seconded by Council Marmol. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the ayes have it. Oh, I'm sorry, roll call. Roll call. Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Counselor LaPlante.
Yes.
Counselor Luzon.
yes.
Counselor Del Rosario. Counselor Marmol.
Yes.
Counselor Reyes.
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez.
Yes.
And the chair votes in the affirmative. Thank you so much, councilors.